Welcome back to Snetterton. Hi Craig, so you had a great result in qualifying today but then had a few problems. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, we did. We qualified third. The car went reasonably well. We got some gearbox issues which cost us a bit of time, but we would have placed third. But we did some work to the car last week. The car was way overweight, so we took a lot of weight out. And we only did it Thursday. So when we got here today, we fueled the car to what we thought was the right level. When we came in after qualifying, we were 2 kilos under. So that puts us to the back of the grid, plus a 10-second penalty.
But then you finished 6th, so that was a great race for you.
Yeah, it was. It was good fun. I quite enjoy the occasions where I've started from the back. It's good fun, coming through the field, and it was good. The car performed really well. We still got a couple of gearbox issues, so it could have been better again. And the oil at the back finish, the back straight there, the oil really causes a problem there because that's one of the main overtaking opportunities, and that just stopped the overtaking there. So it could have even possibly been a bit better than 6, but want to be. So we'll see what happens in race 2.
Hi Graham, so you've become quite famous this afternoon. I've heard your name dropped a few times in interviews. Can you explain what happened?
Yeah, apparently, quite famous. Not for the reasons that I might expect, but yes, we had a seal go on the engine, unbeknown to me at the time, which meant that it was slowly leaking oil, which got worse. Of course, because you don't realise in the car, and the car was driving quite nicely. Yeah, made a bit of a mess of the circuit, I understand. So yeah, been up and apologised. That's all you can do, really. So there we go.
And how are you fixed for race 2?
Should be okay. They found out what's happened is some bolts have come loose on the variable cam units. They've tightened them up, and now they're just trying to clean the mess of oil from the engine bay. So optimistic that we'll get it all done and be on firing her up again shortly and getting her going.
So I feel you had a few problems this morning, race 1. Is it all looking good for race 2?
Yeah, I thought something had broken on the suspension, but as it turned out, I think it was just oil on track. So checked it all over. It looks okay, so fingers crossed I should be good for the next race.
So there's a reason why he plays it safe out on the track. Can you explain why?
Well, yes, he does tend to. He won't kind of go for broke because at the end of the day, he drives the car to the track. He drives, and clearly needs to drive the car back home because also he uses it for work every day. So, yeah, he doesn't have the luxury of kind of bringing it forth and back on a trailer and kind of it doesn't live in the garage during the week. Yeah, it is the car that he uses every day. So I think when he's out and he's racing, he's very mindful of that. So yeah, hence the fact that as soon as he felt that something wasn't quite right, he thought it was better to play safe because he's keen to be able to drive it back home at the end of the day.
So Rob, first time racing for you today. Can you tell us a bit about how you got here?
It's a bit of an unusual one, really. I won a competition last year. I was lucky enough to win a competition that Ben ran called Want to Race, where we all got taken out in these cars with instructors, like a track day, but I've done a few track days, but nothing like the proper race cars. And then managed to win the competition.
And you've been out on the track today. How was that for you?
It was nerve-wracking. It's a totally different league to what I was used to on track days. The fast track day drivers probably end up being the slow racers here, or it's just different. It's different kettle of fish. But I loved it. Really, really great.
We're here for Elise Trophy Race 2, starting with a top 10 reverse grid and Craig Denman hoping to make up the places. We're in for an interesting race.
Certainly will be, because the nature of the reverse grid means that we have got Luigi Mazza and Adam Gore to the very bottom reaches of the top 10. Adam Gore starts in 9th, Luigi Mazza in 8th. Clive Willis, it is, though, who lines up in pole position, with Nigel Hannam showing the front row with him. Row 2 is John Lemaster and Phil Stratton-Lake, and row 3 Martin Wills and Ken Savage, with Matthias Radstock, who finished on the podium in race 1 in 7th, and Anthony Fournier completing the top 10. Craig Denman, as we heard from Hayley, starts 26th. A lot of work for Denman to do. Let's see how he gets on as we ride in car with Denman for the start. The red lights are on, out they go, and away we go. A brilliant start from Denman, who splits Keith Valois and Piquet as he sprints away towards Riches the first time. Stephen Morrison is also well away in the number 11 car, but it's Clive Willis who leads from Phil Stratton-Lake and John Lemaster into Riches. Are they all cleaning through? Yes, they are. Back in car with Denman, who swoops around the outside. Jussaina Ketvel, fantastic stuff from Denman, a spectacular driver, the Welshman. and he has already gained, by my count, about 7, or maybe about 8 places by the time that he arrives into the second turn, maybe being squeezed a little bit through Montreal, but he's able to safely head through the hairpin. All the while, though, it's Clive Willis who leads. Up to second has come Luigi Mazza. What a start from Mazza, with Adam Gore down in the midfield a little bit, and there is Denman already up onto terms. He's just behind another with a bright orange card. That's Andy Stamford, and Stamford who launches a move to the inside of Neil Livesey. Craig Denman sees that Elise-shaped gap. We've got somebody who's pulled off the road. I suspect it's Anthony Fournier, possibly, who is smoking away. Denman, he can't quite make that move on Livesey, as Phil Stratton-Lake and John Lemaster in already a fairly forlorn pursuit. Luigi Mazza is on the terms of the race leader, Clive Willis. And Willis runs a little bit wide. Throggy's there. That could be Mazza's opportunity to challenge. Also Adam Gore looking to pick his way on past Matthias Radstock. It's bright orange car and Craig Denman continue his march through the pack. And yes, as they come through Coram for the first time, it is Luigi Mazza who has taken the lead of the race and is already pulling away quite nicely from Clive Willis. Phil Stratton-Lake going strongly in third, from John Lemaster, Martin Wills, Adam Gore, then Matthias Radstock. The rest of the pack surging through, headed up by Rob Keogh, who we're hearing from just a few moments ago. Next cluster of cars with Chris Mayhew to the head of them. Also Stephen Morrison, the man backed by affordable granite and marble, which would suggest he's got a stony face when he's at the wheel of a racing car. As in the meantime, Craig Denman continues to climb up through the field onto the tail of John Lemaster. P. Ketville, the Luxembourg-based driver, accelerating out of Murray's. On his tail is Jean-Baptiste Loup. Denman still attempting to elevate himself on past the Master, and he jinxed the inside line. He may be able to take that place into Oggies, but the Master, who's been racing in this series for many years, able to close the door. Second place then Clive Willis, although he's now being caught by Martin Wills, and then the Master and Denman battle. Denman just nodding his head in the cockpit there. Hopefully that's not a precursor to some sort of issue, as braking very late, a slightly smoky Martin Wills around the outside of Clive Willis. Andy Stamford accelerating onto the centre straight, and there is Martin Wills, and that's quite a lot of white smoke pouring forth. Hopefully it's not the sign of something a little bit more serious. Craig Denman out of our sight is clear of John Lemaster, and you caught there a very brief glimpse of the race leader Luigi Mazza, who has got something like 20 seconds already over this fight for second position between Martin Wills and Clive Willis. Well, at the moment it's one place and one fewer letter in favour of Martin Wills, with Willis in pursuit in third, or he was. He flies off the road at Coram Curve and very nearly heads into the tyre barrier, keeps his foot firmly planted on the accelerator, rejoins the race, and if nothing else, that is a fantastic recovery from Clive Willis. Let's have another look at it. You do not want to be going to Coram Curve backwards. Fortunately, the grass nice and dry, which means the car doesn't slide towards the tyre barrier, because otherwise that could have been very injurious to the wallet. As it is, Willis rejoins, and he's still in the top 10 as Luigi Mazza accelerates out of Murray's for the final time. The checker flag is ready and waiting, and Luigi Mazza has taken victory. We've got the stopwatch on it. 30 seconds pretty much have gone by already as the second place man Martin Wills accelerates out of Murray's, and on his tail we've got Matthias Radstock and Craig Denman. Great scrap going on for second, but it goes the way of Martin Wills, some 37 seconds adrift of Luigi Mazza. So Mazza, a dominant win then. Martin Wilson second, with Matthias Radstock completing the podium once more. From Craig Denman did brilliantly from 26th on the grid. So many midfield battles. Andy Stamford, we saw a lot of him. Well, he finished in 14th position, and Gisela Getveld doing very well to finish in 17th. Pete Getveld and Kees Valois. It was Christopher Mayhew who finished just outside the top 20, completing the finishers. Well, a hard day's racing for the competitors in the Lotus on Track Elite Trophy, and Luigi Mazza once more top the rostrum as he gets the champagne and the trophies and the attention of the photographers.
Tyus, third place, congratulations. Second good result for today. Was it a smooth race for you?
I wouldn't really call it smooth. It was a lot busier than the first race. I wasn't on my own this time. I had a lot of company. Trying to catch up with Martin, trying to keep Greg behind me. He got past me at some point because I missed the gear change. There was lots going on. It was really, really challenging.
My cockpit was just filling up with smoke the whole way through, and I was sort of driving along with a spare hand trying to waft it out. I was lucky actually, because I did actually receive a black and orange flag. I think because of the smoke inside my car I couldn't see it, but they very kindly withdrew it and allowed me to continue.
Luigi, great race for you, great result. You were way ahead of everybody else. Was it easy?
Not easy at the start, but once I cleared the guys that started in reverse grid, then it was quite easy. But Adam obviously had a engine problem, so unfortunately our scrap that we had in the first race could have been repeated, but it didn't. But it was enjoyable anyway. I enjoyed myself.
And now for something completely different to finish with, because Lotus on Track have branched out from track days and circuit racing to a new sprint series this year, 5 rounds, of which 2 are being held at the Lotus test track at Hethel. So a nice field of, in many cases, completely unmodified road-going Lotus Elises assembled at the North Weald Autodrome in Essex on a cold and blustery day in March for the first round of the season. Graham Foley, Andrew Long, Robert Holt, Mads Pedersen, Emma Newman, Phil Stratton-Lake, Simon Oakley, Martin Stiles and Tracy Oakley made up the field, and a very fine day of sprinting they had, with many of the drivers translating their pace from the Lotus on Track Elise Trophy to this very demanding discipline of sprinting.
And first Graham Foley.
At the end of a fine day's competition, with the field split into 2 groups, it was Graham Foley and Simon Oakley who emerged victorious, as others waited anxiously for the results. The most important thing was that smiles were to be seen throughout the field, and that the series is set up very nicely for the remaining 4 rounds. Let's take a look then at the podium finishers from the 2 groups. In Group 1 it was Graham Foley who edged out Andrew Long, with Robert Holt in 3rd. Group 2, Simon Oakley by just 12 thousandths of a second getting the advantage over Martin Stiles, with Tracy Oakley in 3rd. Well, the next stop for the sprinters will be at the Lotus test track at Hethel in May.
That's it from us here at Snetterton. Join us next time for more great Lotus racing.